Hey, what's up, guys? Today on Bite Size Marketing Hacks, we're going to talk about what does it take? What does it take to use Zoom like a pro? And if you don't know about Zoom, it's not the car that goes vroom, but it's Zoom. You'll check it out here in a minute.
Welcome to the Bite Size Marketing Hack Podcast, where you get the confidence to hack your marketing 5 minutes at a time. Hey guys, welcome to Bite Size Marketing Hacks. My name is Mark.
My name's Rashawn.
And it's great to be with you. In fact, I got my island shirt on here with the palm trees and the pineapples, and it's like we're on vacation. Not
Nice.
really. I think everybody's still jumping in and working, but I'm in that with my shirt. At least I can dress down with my shirt. So.
Love it, love it. What would we do for a trip to Hawaii right now, man?
Oh
I'm
man.
with you.
Oh man. But it's so great to be with you guys, and we're streaming to you from the platform that we're going to talk about today. And everybody's using Zoom. There's people who are talking about some privacy challenges and different things with it, but you've got to be using something. Zoom is a top platform to be using, and so how can you use that like a pro?
Yeah.
And Rashawn is going to set us up for that. So what you got, dude?
Awesome, guys. Well, as you guys see and know, the world has changed as we have known it. But what hasn't changed is our longing, our need, one, to connect, but also, having to stay connected with our people, whether it's coworkers, whether it's customers, whether it's your employees, whoever it may be, we need to stay connected. With that being said, Zoom offers you the opportunity to record meetings, to not only record meetings, but to also just meet with people that are, in your community, discipleship, whatever it may look like for you and your community. And what we want to talk about today, what are some tips you can take away and use for the benefit of your group, but also make you look like a pro whenever it comes to Zoom. So let's get into it. First and foremost, do we have our list available, like our list, Mark?
You want to see the tips?
Yeah, so we could just go down the line. But our first tip, and thanks for pointing that up, brother. Our first tip is spend extra time connecting at the beginning. This is so essential. This is so important, regardless of where you are. How weird would it be for you to just, jump into a meeting or even at a speaking engagement, a physical meeting and just start talking about, what you know. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. Have you ever heard that saying? It's
Oh
so
yeah.
important to connect with your people before you begin to try to teach your people all that you know. So with that being said, do you got anything to add to that, Mark?
I think what's helpful to note about that is that everybody's number one, everybody feels disconnected right now.
Mm,
And if you're a leader, if you don't take time to acknowledge that and make space for a little bit of extra connection, you may be missing that opportunity to lead well. But also, number two, when we're doing things virtually instead of in person, there's already a little bit of an extra disconnect. And making
yeah.
sure to check in, how is that person doing? Even asking a little bit of a specific personal question or two that you've thought out ahead, so that it's not just like off the cuff, but really like intentional, like how are you doing
Mm.
and how is your family doing in the midst of this? What are you processing with this or that? And not being invasive, but showing that you care, I think goes a long way towards helping the meeting start off in a place of everybody feeling like they're on the same page.
So true, so true. And another thing, Mark, that I love is whenever we jump into meetings like this, one, although we feel disconnected 10 minutes before coming into a meeting like this, in a moment, we can thoroughly be connected to people not only across the street that we're zooming with, but people overseas. It's given us this amazing ability to connect with people. And one thing that I've learned over the past week or two is that when you introduce people, mentioning their name and where they're from, a lot of conversation starters come out of just those little brief introductions. Hey, Sally's from Chicago. What? I've been to Chicago. I've eaten their pizza and
Yeah.
those amazing chili dogs that Chicago, dogs. Yes, so I know what Chicago's like, and then it just starts conversation. So finding ways to introduce people, and sharing the location is a fire starter.
That's good. That's a really great tip.
And then tip number two, tell everyone to mute unless they are talking. This is so important, guys. Have you ever been on a Zoom call or any call, to say the least, and there's background noise, craziness, like a train going by? Now, just like, or, even babies crying in the background, which you'll probably hear at my house. But we always want to make sure that we do our due diligence on allowing the people who are talking, like, to be able to talk and not be disrupted, and also the listeners as well. So that's very important. And I would encourage you guys, to put that into action. But not only the first time you're not talking, at the beginning of the meeting, but practice doing it on the fly throughout the meeting. When you want to say something, do. Go ahead and talk, then go jump off and hit mute again. Do it back and forth, which that's ABC 1 2 3. But another thing, really quick, and I'm done, and then I'll let Mark jump in. But when you're speaking, make sure. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna let Mark jump in. He may touch on this.
I think it's just helpful if you're the one facilitating or leading the meeting to you've got to plan ahead and realize there's that extra dynamic of helping people navigate how to use Zoom for having the meeting. And so making sure that you over communicate, and I think that's a really key word when it comes to Zoom or online meetings. Over communicate. Say more than what you think needs to be said about what's happening and how people are interacting, because probably people are going to be reassured to hear it and they may not know. So telling everyone specifically, hey guys, if you're not talking, please mute, and saying that pretty early on in the conversation. It saves people embarrassment, and also it makes sure that everybody's on the same page. And then a couple just keys to that. There are command keys you can hit on your keyboard. So if you hit Command Control M, or on a PC Alt M, it mutes everybody at once. So if you are the facilitator, you can just politely do that, and it mutes everybody. And then they'll still have the ability to unmute, but it gets everybody silent so that you can move the meeting forward. And then also you can do a similar command for screen share, Command Shift S, or on the PC Alt Shift S, and that immediately sets you up to be able to share your screen if you've got something you need everybody to be able to see. Of course, you can do that with your mouse, but if you are doing this a lot and you've got a lot of things to share, it might be worth learning those keystrokes so that you can just get to where you can do that fast and stay on top of facilitating the meeting.
I
Those are my
love that,
tips.
Mark. You feel free to mute me anytime I'm talking. Mark. I love that. Awesome. Well, that's proper. Well, good Zoom etiquette right there, guys. And thanks for sharing, Mark. You definitely touched on all that stuff that I didn't even know about. So,
Yeah.
number three is screen share. And to screen or start a screen share, you can type Command Shift S, and on your PC, you can do Alt Shift S, start a screen share, which I think is valuable. It's great. Anything you got for that one, Mark?
I don't think so. Yep,
Okay,
that's a useful aspect for sure.
awesome. So next point is plan a lot of space for practice. Plan a lot of space for practice, guys. One thing that I try to get better at all the time is jumping on, moments or minutes before the meeting. At least 5 or 10, especially as the host, to even practice and warm up to, like, before you start getting in the hot seat, having all your business partners, different leaders. How embarrassing is it not to have everything squared away? And so practicing before you sort of jump into this performance is always great, just like in basketball, football, tennis, whatever you do.
Yeah, I think there's an extra level of just grace, for lack of a better word. There's an extra level of just people feeling forgiving and understanding, maybe is a word,
Mm,
in this climate in this time. I've been seeing, as I've gotten on some different Zoom calls with people a little more relaxed. There's definitely a professionalism. People are still professional, but I think this whole event has caused all of us to kind of
Yeah.
need to get honest and real at another level. And so, so there's a little bit of there's a forgiveness and understanding, but nonetheless, bringing that professionalism of having practiced ahead of time is important. So,
Yes. And a caveat to that, another great way you can practice is going on YouTube. And there's interviews all over YouTube, all even over Facebook right now, of people doing Zoom calls. You probably, swiped right or swiped down and you've seen this happening. And just take some of the things and cues that they do and learn from other people, just like anywhere else. That's helpful.
it's good. Okay, so Zoom rooms. You want to hit
So
on that?
Zoom rooms, I love this because I literally haven't used this like until this pandemic. I've never attempted to even use Zoom rooms, but I've seen the value in, for instance, if you're, church, for instance, and you're campus pastor, you can literally get all your staff, all your volunteers, even, people who are just now being plugged in, have a Wednesday night where you're sort of quote unquote maybe doing a Bible study, maybe doing something else, but there's ways where you can, you know, sort of one, put it like this. If you were to show a video on the Zoom call, which you can do, what you can do is start a breakout session after the video for people to talk about what did they learn from that video. And then in these breakout rooms, people can just one, connect more, but number two, just glean into each other and, sort of be inspired by one another. And then a little bit later, you can bring everybody back into the main Zoom room, which I guess maybe Mark can explain this a little bit more. But I just think when I was a part of a group like this, it was just like, whoa, this is cool. So yeah, Mark, you got anything as far
So
as Zoom breakout rooms?
breakout rooms are such a helpful feature for, especially for the facilitator, to be able to allow different just people to have discussion that doesn't take forever. And
Yeah,
also, if you've got a lot of people on a call, the people who are not as assertive are going to hold back. So when you've got the breakout rooms, it allows you to get some discussion going. If you're a business and you want to get your team brainstorming around this pandemic and how can we respond in this particular area, breaking out
yeah,
into twos or threes and then coming back together and presenting what were the best ideas, that would be a way to speed up the process and get everybody talking. So Zoom breakout rooms are useful for those reasons. And then some of the functionality, as the host, you can type messaging in that everybody's going to see in the breakout rooms. And then also you can give people that countdown timer of 60 seconds to finish up when it's time to come back to the main room and
wow,
report back. So it's literally like if you had rooms in your house and you're sending people out to talk in those rooms, or in your business if you have different offices and then people are coming back together. So and it feels like that when you're using it. Surprisingly, it feels like even though
yeah.
you're on the same call, it kind of feels like you're in this little bit smaller private space and then coming back to the
So
larger room.
cool.
So
And what's great about that too, Mark, I love how you explained that so good. But I love how the host can jump into any room at any time,
yeah.
and just listen in and glean and, just direct and whatever it looks like. So I love that. The final point, guys, is also that's also worth noting when you record the Zoom call, whatever layout you choose at any point in the call is what the video will record as. So whatever layout you use is what the video will record as. Do you have any experience with this, Mark? I'm not
Yeah,
necessarily.
so I have, especially as a church planter and church leader, I've done this a lot. And
Mm,
I think what's helpful to understand there is that um, if you want to have one speaker talking, you can choose that speaker view. And then if you choose the tile view in which everybody is shown, you get a group conversation going. So at different points in a meeting, especially if you're going to share that with others, or if you're creating like a webinar or workshop out of a Zoom call,
mm,
or if you're an organization and you're recording this to be able to share with others live on Facebook for marketing purposes, whatever reason it might be, whatever you are clicking on at that moment as the facilitator, others can click different views and that doesn't change anything. But for you, whatever view you have is how that call is going to be recorded and then how it's going to be viewed later. So it's a little bit of an, that can feel overwhelming for you to have that other layer of how do I think through this? But you could also assign somebody to be the video producer so that they are the host of the call. And then if you're leading the meeting, you've got a whole nother account so that you're not having to think about that. And their job is to change that view based on what's happening. So it's a useful feature.
So good. So good. Love that, Mark. And perhaps some of you are thinking right now, if I were to do a meeting, say I'm the executive guy, and I have X amount of team members on my staff as a business leader. However, we have others like, younger employees that may not necessarily have access to our meeting. And you want them to have access, but not necessarily real time in the meeting. What you can do is download the video. It'll download as a MP4, I believe, video. And then from that point, you can edit the video. You can make adjustments and tweak the video, cut out some parts of the video, and you can send it out abroad to your team. But not only that, you can even pump it on social media, whether it's IGTV, Facebook, and different things like that. And hey, you can come up with a powerful piece of content just through a Zoom video if you need something like that. So that's just what I had in mind to share.
That's great. And so as this is hitting you guys, some of you are saying, I need to figure out how to adapt to this environment. What do I do right now in the midst of all this uncertainty? And I don't want to just survive this. I want to thrive in the midst of this. Or maybe you don't even feel that optimistic. You're like, how do I survive this? Well, yeah. We have an opportunity for you. We want to help you to not only survive, but thrive in the midst of uncertainty. We're here to help as a guide to help you navigate this. And you need help navigating this in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of economic uncertainty. And so this, what you're seeing on your screen right now, we put together a workshop that we want to share with you. And if you go to frontiercreative.co/thrive, frontiercreative.co/thrive, you'll get all the information about this workshop and all the different things that you can learn, including how to market in crisis, what will connect you with people in a clear way, what content works right now and why, what works on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, hashtags, brand messaging that works, practical website tips, all of these sorts of things. And it is time to seize the moment. So we would love to just invite you to check that out, frontiercreative.co/thrive for the How to Thrive in 2020 workshop.
Let's go, guys. You can jump on it right now, get access. And if you're listening in at this moment and you're just in your car, and you can't get to it now, just jump over to our Facebook page, and there's different ways you can connect with us real time. If you have any questions, you hit me or Mark up on Instagram, our Facebook, and we would love to address those questions. Let's do it.
Awesome. I think that's it for today. We'll see you guys next time.
Woo!
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe, and visit us at bitesizemarketinghacks.com for more resources and episodes that will help you hack your marketing 5 minutes at a time.